I'm good. Oh my goodness. I tell you, technology is amazing. Amazing. Anyway, thank you. Thank you so much for joining Black Girl Joy. My name is Nicole Celine, and today I am honored. Ooh, I have an echo. In having a friend, Miss Nikki Brown. Her also goes by the Coochie Coach. I love that name, by the way. I want you to introduce yourself, let everyone know who you are. I mean, you have a plethora of knowledge. I mean, reading your bio was like amazing. I'll be honest. It was just amazing. And not only is she a coach, but she's also my high school alma mater alumni, because we both went to the same high school, and I'm also proud of that too.
Yes.
So please announce yourself. Welcome to Black Girl Joy. My name is Nicole Celine. I am the host, and today we have the wonderful, beautiful Miss Nikki Brown, also known as the Coochie Coach. Please welcome her, and go ahead, Nick, and introduce yourself.
Oh, you know what? Well, this is always the tough part. I'm always like, what do I say about myself? I mean, I feel like, we write these bios, right, in the third person, and you're not even present to who you have been being in the world, right? And it's not until, right? So it's not until you are charged with writing, I'm a mother, I'm a writer, I mean, like a published author, like my books have been in other countries, and you go, wow, that's me. Like, that's me. That's who I've been being in the world. And it's always humbling to know that these are the things that I've been doing. These are the seeds that I've been planting, right? Getting certified as a womb wellness practitioner, working on my womb sauna practice, and being in training so that I can provide spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional vaginal steams, right? Unlike anything that anybody has ever created. And so I've gotten the pleasure and the blessing of being taught and under the tutelage of some really great women, and starting with my mom. So I think, who I am is a Black woman on a mission to transform womb wellness and womb care as we know it. And it is about putting ourselves in the forefront of our own healing so that we can experience joy internally and externally.
Yes, very good. So today the topic is, actually, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I'm taking notes as you talk, and that's my reason for doing this podcast is because of menopause. It started with menopause. I am still in the process. I am perimenopausal and still going through the process of menopause, and going through the process to get to being menopausal. And it's taken me through a multitude of changes. And the one thing that I have, as I've interviewed different women, married, not married, or young or old, is the womb. We fail to do the things necessary to take care of that very essential part where, we give birth. So many things happen, through the vaginal area, with the vaginal area, that whole part of us. And sometimes some women just completely ignore it. Something
absolutely.
as simple as getting a pap smear. You ask them, when was your last one? And they look at you like, you're asking them something foreign. But it's important. Cervical cancer is a real thing. These things are very important. So my interest also in wanting you to speak to the women was because of that. You have a good knowledge, and a knowledge that I respect, and I want them to have good information. Because there's a difference between information and good information.
Absolutely.
And my plight in life, I feel, is that you have right information as a woman, so that when you go out there, when you see your doctors, you are knowledgeable about what you're talking about and what's going on with you. Because a lot of times, sometimes not even the doctors understand.
Exactly.
And some doctors don't even want to deal with you, even if they are female. Even if they themselves are going through these things, they themselves don't even want to deal with you. So I want the women to have the knowledge to go out there and take care of themselves correctly. So my first question is, what is womb care? Like, what does that consist of, or what does it entail?
Well, first, it entails acknowledging, right, the power that exists inside of every woman, whether you've had your womb taken out or not. You are still whole, perfect, and complete. And so acknowledging that there is this space inside of us, while we know it as a physical entity, right? Because we birth babies, because we have our menstrual cycles, but it also is the center of creativity. And so it is imperative that we acknowledge that she even exists before we could even look at her, before we can even ask a question at the doctor, before we can even, go on a womb journey of healing and empowerment. We must first acknowledge that she is even in existence. And I think that the acknowledgement allows us to affirm the greatness that resides inside of the center, most sacred solar plexus of our bodies. And in the acknowledgement of the fact that we have wombs, and affirming the beauty, the brilliance, and the boldness that comes from within is powerful. And when you can do that, then you can go on a journey that says, oh, I need to physically heal something, or, oh, I need to restore, recalibrate. Oh, I need to just go to the spa. Oh, I need to take a breath. Oh, I need to rest. Oh, I need to movement, get involved in some movement. But it is through acknowledgement and affirmation that first begins.
Nice. So if the steps to womb wellness, the first part is acknowledgement, what would you tell a woman once she begins this journey? What should be maybe 3 steps, like the first 3 things that she should do to help her on this womb journey? Because of course, yes, I understand that each one of us are different, and some don't, and some acknowledging sometimes it can really be hard. If you have a womb and it may not work according to what society says that it's supposed to work like, or if if things have changed and your body has changed, like, I looked at, for myself, I can only speak for me right now, it's like the first thing was, okay, I no longer am in that baby making mode, and it's like, all right, this is different. Okay. Now what do I do now? Right. How I look at my cycles and how much they've changed from when I was young to now.
Right.
And now I'm at this place where it's like, okay, now what am I going to do with you?
Right. Well, here's the thing. I mean, I think, what's beautiful, first, I'm going to go to your original question about 3 things that we could do. And then I want to address what do we do now, right? Yes. Because the acknowledgement of her doesn't mean I have to acknowledge her pain. Doesn't mean I have to acknowledge the trauma and the drama. When I speak about acknowledgement, I'm speaking about the basics of just noticing that your womb exists, right? And that she serves and has served a purpose for you, good, bad, or indifferent, right? And through the acknowledgement of it, all you've got to say is thank you. That's a simple affirmation. Thank you. Yes. Thank you is an affirmation and an acknowledgement all unto itself, right? Right. Doesn't have to be this long, drawn out, mantra and manifesto, right? We have to work our ways up to that. That's not something that automatically comes for most women, right? We've been indoctrinated by patriarchy that has us hate our periods, that has us hate our wombs, the very thing that gives every human being on the planet life. We've been taught to despise it and reject it, in no matter what form it has come in. And so I am like, let's be basic and simple about it. Let's just acknowledge that she exists. And let's just affirm it with a thank you. And then when you do that, you lead yourself to, I go back to the basics of everything, ABCs. And then you have to be with the fact that you've acknowledged her and that you've affirmed her, but that she's been on a journey. And journey that either you've had some whole responsible part in or maybe not, right? There are all parts of everyone's journey that they either had responsibility or they had no responsibility. And we have to learn how to deal with that. And so if you could just be with the fact that your vagina has had a voyage, you're still winning. And then the final thing is to commune with self via a journal, via a prayer, via meditation, no matter what it is that you choose, but communicate with yourself, your body, your peers if you choose, because when we graduate into really getting confident, we begin to communicate more about her in a way that is highlighting and disappointing, but we at least are in conversation about what we have experienced. And then again, I say we are still winning in the world of womb care.
Amen.
And
that was I'm sorry. I apologize because I'm like sitting here like, OMG, yes. I'm like, oh God, yes. It's like, especially when you said the voyage of the vagina, and it really is.
Yeah.
Throughout the ages and stages, it really is a voyage because it changes so much. But yes, okay, and continue, because I'm
And so the part that you said, now what, right? Because what next? Now what and what next? And so after you have gone on this journey, and the journey continues, right? It doesn't stop after the cycle stops because something else begins to pick up. And so what I decided to do with my life is I've decided to embrace her departure with love, grace, and gratitude. Because what I recognize is because I have been indoctrinated to really not love the experience, that I dragged my cycle and my period and my womb around for 40 some odd years, right? Like an albatross around my neck. Well, now that she is starting to leave me, I am mourning the loss of her. So I am allowing myself to grieve in the process and rejoice, right? Because there is another place that I get to go on this journey that my cycle will not be a part of, but my womb still carries on, right? And so I've decided to give myself a party. So they say that you're in perimenopause until you have a whole year without a physical cycle of blood shedding from your uterine lining, right? And so I'm clear that my period right now, she's playing peekaboo. Hi, I'm here this month, but I'm not here for 90 days, sis. So go ahead and rock out for 90 days, but I'll be back on the 91st day, right? And so I had to learn to play this double dutch game with her because it was like, well, I don't want to get too happy at the fact that I don't see her because dang, here she comes again. So what I decided is, now when my period comes by surprise, because it's by surprise now, right? It used to be very regimented every 21 to 28 days. I knew when it was going to happen, except for the times that I was pregnant, and I know what happened then. I have those babies, right? And so now I get a cycle and I go, oh, okay, well, I got a cycle. Okay, great. So where are the pads, or where are my period panties, or, like whatever it is that I'm going to use in order to capture the blood that is ultimately going to disappear.
Right.
But I've decided that I'm going to give myself a party, Nick, like a real celebration, because I want to remember and acknowledge and appreciate all of the things that my womb has done for me on this journey together, and welcome in, right, this next journey of menopause. I want to find a new name for menopause. I mean, it says menopause, like men or pause. And I'm not interested in any men pausing at this stage in my life. Like, I'm pressing the gas because hell, why not? Because now there's another journey that I get to experience with my womb.
Right. Okay. I am okay. I'm like one of those interviewers. There is so much to unpack right there. I mean, it's like, and my mind is going 100 miles an hour. God knows how I am. So because I wrote down a lot. So, the one thing that one of the things that I wrote down just now when you talked about communicating with yourself, which I find is quite important. Communication is the basis for cooperation. And even with your body, communication with your body is extremely important, I find. Understanding, what's going on, what's happening. And if you're not getting understanding and start to do the research that you need to do to understand, to talk. And the only way that I personally was able to understand what was going on with me was when I began to communicate with others. And you talked about talking to others. And that is how I started being able to communicate with some of my mentors, with women that were a little bit older than me. I had one of my girlfriends who had stopped getting her cycle at the age of 46. So obviously I'm a little older, and I was just like, well, how come that didn't happen to me?
You looking for a flag? I'm trying to flag it down. Menopause, I'm over here. Pick me up.
I was like, but wait a minute, that didn't happen to me. Here I am, 51 years old, and I'm still, some months it comes, some months it doesn't, and I'm playing like, definitely like you said, like peekaboo, like, wait, are you coming this month? Oh, no? Okay. And then when you come, it comes like a roaring lion some days, or then other days it comes like, like a dripping faucet. So I feel that, yes, communication is very important. And I think that a lot of times when I know for my parents or the women that were prior to me growing up, you didn't talk about this. Women went through even the psychological part of it. Yeah. And it wasn't discussed. And I found it hard because my whole thing is, here it is. This woman is going through something. Her husband is like, she's just crazy. Not understanding that, no, she's changing and she doesn't even know what's happening to her. And no one is willing to have this, this dialogue.
Exactly. And
that was an issue for me.
Yeah. Well, you can't teach what you haven't been taught. Right. And so what we have the blessing of these days is technology. Technology has allowed us to see into, many things at the same time. And what has begun to happen is there is a revolution, right? I'm going to say a new revolution, right? There was a moment where people had this burning of the bras, moment. But now it is like an all-out revolution for women all around the world to have power in their pussies, like for real. And so I believe that is also what has given us power to speak about it, because I've been this way all of my life, right? But we, as we said, we went to school together. So we went to Catholic school, and so we were indoctrinated with fear, guilt, and shame on every frontier, no matter what it was, especially sex. especially sex,
Yes.
especially vaginas, And so there was no empowerment in any of that experience. And so here it's like we get to rebel, right, against that, but rebel in a positive way. And so that is what I think a lot of people are experiencing. And then we gave birth to these other young people who are like, to hell with everything that you've been taught. We're going to do it this way, and we're going to be vocal about it, and we're going to be empowered around it. And it's just gone and taken off from there.
Yes, and that is why my desire always is to talk about it. It's to put it out there, to talk to doctors, to have them come on and really help us with this journey, because it truly is a journey that is not going to end. As long as we have women in this world, as long as we have cycles or no cycles, or we are going to go through this journey of menopause. And for each and every one of us, it's going to be different. We may have similar instances or emotions, because there is the vaginal care. I think you and I at one point talked about the vaginal dryness. Some experience dryness, and the things that they can use, because some women don't even know that they can actually use certain things that are here, because obviously in other countries, they may not have the access as we have. So their whatever they may use may be a little different, but there is still something out here. Things that we can do, the way we eat.
Indeed.
Our food intake is definitely important also. Exercise, walking around, activities, all these things can keep your womb healthy, can keep you healthy.
Indeed.
And that is my plight. This is why this is so important to me, because I want them to have the knowledge, or at least the beginning of knowledge.
The knowledge, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I think that, one thing I want to say is that water is a healing agent. Intaking it orally, immersing ourselves in it physically with baths, not just showers, to allow the womb to receive. Water allows us to receive, right? To take it all in. And so I think that that's a great way to begin the journey of womb care, Coochie care, vibrance. It is about the H2O. And then they are, encouraging us to eat more plant-based, water-based foods provides the body, they say you are what you eat. And that's a true statement, right? So you eat things that are live and juicy and, healthy. You're going to be alive, juicy, and healthy, internally and externally. So I think, it is basic and it's simple, but we make it hard. And, and there's always, consult your doctor, right?
Right.
To see what it is that the doctor recommends. But we are our own first doctors. Your body. The medicine that they give you is to test out, right? It's a general medication that's given to you to test it out to see if it works on you. Well, hell, you can do the same thing with your own body. Hey, when I eat a lot of watermelon, I notice that my vagina is succulent and juicy. Looks like I should keep drinking still keep eating watermelon. Hey, when I drink that gallon of water for 2 days in a row, I noticed that my vagina was a little more moist than it had been. Oh, maybe I should drink a gallon of water. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
It is the simple things in life that are the answers to most of our concerns.
Yes, I do agree with that. I agree wholeheartedly. I have seen how me changing my diet consistently over a period of time, because growing up I was a strict vegetarian, and then after that, throughout the years living at home with my parents, I had to learn how to eat meat because I personally don't really care for meat. That's just me. And once I moved out at 22, then yes, I became a strict vegetarian for a long time. And then having my daughter, she is a meatitarian like her father. So my pregnancy was quite challenging. trying to keep just fruits and vegetables and beans and all that good stuff down, and so throughout the years, and now as I'm walking in these lovely years, I've had to change my diet again for other reasons, but I do notice the difference even in the pH balance of my vaginal care, because that too has a pH balance. And that too is important to keep steady, and even in that, I have noticed the changes. So it's like, I thank you so much for the knowledge and just for you sharing. The one thing I do want them to know is, are you gonna do any more seminars?
Yeah. So it's funny that you asked, because I'm planning one now for October.
Okay. All right.
That is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but I just like to make sure that we throw some Coochie in there too. Let's not forget.
Yes.
So yeah, it's called the Coochie Con, and I had it on October 31st last year because it happened to be on a Saturday, but I think I like October 31st. So I may play around with having it again on October 31st. The date is not solidified, but it will be in October.
Okay.
And so make yourselves available for that day. I think that
I will.
It's a good day to gather and commune. And I think with all of this hybrid gathering, we may do it live and online. So if you want to come live, we'll do it live. And if you're not interested in that, we'll have a virtual version for you. But either way, I think that it is important for us to gather and, have some Coochie conversations.
Oh, yes. The seminars have been, were what first attracted me, because I was like, Coochie? I'm like, wait a minute. What are we talking about here?
Yes.
And then your knowledge and your love for women, it has truly blessed me. And I've told you that over the years. It's just a blessing,
Oh, beautiful. Thank God.
To have someone who is knowledgeable and loves us enough that wants to share that knowledge, because, sharing really is caring, because we care enough to want to teach you to take care of yourself. You are the only you that you have.
Indeed.
And so for that, I just thank you. But I'm going to need another interview with you because I have a few more questions.
Yes. Well, definitely we need to schedule that. I have another meeting after this one. So I'm like, we could stay on now. Let us book another time, because I think that this topic cannot be exhausted. Like there will never be oh my God, we just talked about Coochie too much. I just learned too much about vagina. Oh boy, here I go learning something new about my vagina. No, I mean, and if that's your conversation, then that's your conversation. However, if you are interested in having a vibrant, VJ, then you should engage in dialogue that's healthy and empowering around it.
Yes, and I'd like eventually to have a panel. So we will talk all about this at a later date. But I thank you so much, Nikki Brown.
You are
coach.
So
thank
welcome.
You so
thank
much.
you, Nick, for having me here. And let me just tell everyone that they can find me everywhere on social media at the Coochie Coach. And if you feel inclined to send an email, it is thecoochiecoach@gmail.com. And I'm an old-fashioned kind of girl. You can hit me up in a text message at 646-399-3352.
All right. Thank you very much. And I thank you guys for listening. My name is Nicole Celine. I am the host of Black Girl Joy. I pray that today has been a blessing to you, and look forward to hearing from us again soon in the next month. Thank you and have a great day.